we were looking back or reading back on your stories, and you were a flight attendant. You had your dream. You went to acting school. Like, what inspired you to go down this road?
Which road?
The wrestling road.
Oh, the wrestling road. Well, originally. So originally, I was a wrestling fan growing up, and
who's your wrestlers?
Mick Foley was my big one.
Nice.
Mick Foley was the one. So what I was.
Mick Foley's Mankind, right?
Yeah.
With the puppet.
Yeah.
I liked him too. I always knew him as Mankind. Then he took the mask off and became Mick
Foley. Cactus Jack.
Cactus
you
Jack.
remember? Yeah. Dude, yeah. And so I was a fan growing up. I have an older brother. So anything that he watched, I watched, and anything he did, I wanted to do and annoy the bejesus out of him. But so when we were little kids, we were watching wrestling, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, whatever. And then we both fell out of it. And then when I was around 12, he started watching it again.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, don't you know that stuff's all fake? That's for babies. And just like the worst. And he was like, no, it's gotten really good actually, yeah. And so I'd be like, yeah, whatever. And then Mick Foley would come on and he'd cut these promos and the way he talked, and I just like be like, oh, it sucks. Just kind of like side eyeing it, And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, well, let me know when Mick Foley's on. So then I would come and then I'd watch him, and then I was hooked, and then I was back in. And then, but at the time, it was like a little rough time in my childhood. And my parents, who had separated when I was like 1, but they lived, anyway, it was a complicated story.
Family. We all got it.
Family.
Yeah.
And we were going through some stuff, and then I was up to no good. I was like drinking, I was smoking, I was getting into all sorts.
Little devil's lettuce?
Little devil's lettuce.
Grandpa's old cough medicine?
a lot of devil's lettuce.
Okay.
Was consumed in the back of my secondary school. And
that could be high school. Could be high school, folks.
High school.
High school?
High school. Or
hey.
What do you mean? Middle school at that stage? I still don't know your terms. But and then then I was getting ready for my junior cert. Now you guys, I don't think, have a junior cert. But like our junior cert is the thing that prepares us for the leaving cert, which you also don't have.
What is that?
So you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Zero.
So the junior cert is a set of exams you do in your third year of, which maybe the end of your middle school. I don't know how to explain it.
So it's like exit exams.
Well, no, that's the leaving cert. But the junior cert is supposed to prepare you for the leaving cert. And the leaving cert is supposed to determine your future.
So it's like the SAT.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I did terribly on those.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
And look at you now.
I'm about to come over there. You better hold me back, Becky, or I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get him.
I ain't holding nobody back. I want to see a show.
No. So Mick Foley, Mankind.
Yeah.
Is
So
it the
I'm sorry.
Irish
Anyway,
name also.
No. It was just him, man. It was just the way he talked and his ability to cut a promo. And you asked what makes a good promo, Mick Foley, but his ability to craft the story and the unusual texture to his voice, everything about it, and how sympathetic he was too. And then, so anyway, I was doing terribly in school, and I realized that I should probably get my act together. And of course, the way to get my act together would be to start professional wrestling, of course, natural course of decisions. So I went down to this school that was an hour away from me. And
in Ireland?
In Ireland.
Now, where in Ireland? Are we like near Dublin or something?
So I lived in Dublin. This was in Bray, County Wicklow, which is just outside of Dublin.
Just outside.
Yeah. And a young man called Fergal Devitt was running this school.
Fergal what?
Fergal Devitt.
Is his name?
That's his name.
Sounds like a Lord of the Rings name.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's a cool name.
You may know him in WWE as Finn Balor.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we
So
go.
Fergal was running this school, and so I showed up on the first date, lied about my age, had to be 16. I was only 15.
15.
Said I was 17. Genius move.
Yeah, you shoot for the star, you land
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
room, we're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
yeah, genius move. And so they let me in. They didn't even ask for ID or nothing. And so and I was terrible at everything. I had failed PE. I was awful. And I was the most unathletic thing in the world. Probably still am. But for the first time in my life, I wanted to be good at something. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. We didn't even have a ring. We just had 6 blue padded mats. And there was also this sense of community, because wrestling's like a bit of a family, you know? I think it often attracts the oddballs and the misfits, you know what I mean? And they're my people, you know?
Yeah.
And so now I had a people, you know, and this want to get better at something. And then, you know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I started getting better at school and you know.
Confidence. Getting confident.
Yeah.
You're gaining confidence through preparation.
Confidence. Yeah. Never had any of that.
Yeah. You're setting a goal.
And all of a sudden I did. Yeah. And like at 15, then I was heading off to England and I was training over there and I would tour around England. And then when I was 17, I was off in college. And I dropped out. I was studying history, politics, and philosophy, and I just had no interest in going into school. I just wanted to go to the gym. They had a great free gym that I'd use. And so then I dropped out of college. I moved off to Canada, started wrestling around Canada, started wrestling around America. Eventually was taken over to Japan, started wrestling there at 18. And just kind of like making a little name for myself on the independent circuit. Yeah. And then when I was 19, then, you know, things were looking up, you know, I was doing well, but my visa ran out in Canada. And then I had to go home and live with my mom. And
Back in Ireland.
Back in Ireland.
So Canada, Ireland, UK, college, dropped out, Canada.
Ireland college.
Ireland
college, yeah.
Don't want to go down that road.
Gets dicey, you know.
I know religious warfare.
It's just in the bones, you know. Potatoes.
I like. When was the moment you felt like you could make this a career?
This is a tricky story because when I was like 17, you know, I just teamed with my brother. My brother was wrestling too. And I just teamed with him. I played the heel for the first time in this little hall in Kildare in Ireland in front of like 50 people. And I was like, damn, I'm good. I wasn't, but I thought I was.
What made you feel that when you felt that feeling? Did you do a move, or was the crowd reacting away to you?
The crowd was reacting.
They were getting pissed at you.
Yeah,
she was the heel.
I think there was, and this has been the thing that's kind of allowed me, despite many of my shortcomings, is I've been able to somehow garner a connection with the crowd. I don't know what that is. And whatever that was, it kind of really kicked off in this night in Kildare. Or at least I could feel it. I could feel that there was something that I could give to this industry, to this business. I was like, I want to do it. I want to be a pro wrestler. Because before, it seemed like too much of a pipe dream for this Irish girl to become a wrestler in WWE or anywhere in the world. Like, who did I think that I was? You know? Who did I think that I was, that I could make it, you know? And then at 17, I was like, I'm Rebecca fucking Quinn. I can make it, you know?
Yeah.
And then
I'm getting hyped up over here. I'm getting jazzed up. Sorry. About to run through that goddamn glass door over there.
And then I came back after taking my year off of college, and I ended up back at home with my mom going, what's your plan? What's your plan? What's your plan? What are you going to do? What's your plan? What are you going to do? You going to go back to college? You're going to get a real job? What are you going to do? And I just didn't, I was like, there's no, I can't tell you what the road is going to be, because anything that you would look at on TV, I can't say I want to do that. You know, you're looking at the time, the women weren't, you know, treated as the athletes and stars that we are today.
What year is this?
This is 2006, you know, and there was still a lot of, you know, pillow fights and all that kind of jazz and bra and panties matches, and ain't nobody
more
wanted
of as a
to
prop.
see me do that. Yeah.
More as a prop.
Yeah.
They weren't getting into it as much.
No. And
this is like that because that was like the end of when I stopped watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That era.
Yeah. And it was just that kind of they weren't really taken seriously. There's certainly nobody was eyeballing them to main event really much, if anything. And so I couldn't say, well, that's what I want to do on TV. That you see what I was looking at, what I wanted to do was these obscure promotions in Japan where the women were better than any man that I'd ever seen, and they were kicking the shit out of each other. And but I also couldn't show my ma that, you know. She's like, what is this? You're gonna make money over there? What if you get hurt? And then my mom doesn't sound like this, by the way.
I was about to say, mom sounded kind of American. Mom didn't have the Irish accent. What was that?
I don't know.
I was sitting there. I was like, did she turn it off?
I just have my mom voice anyway. So anyway, then I was in a match in Germany that I ended up getting hurt, and I came back and I had this gash over my eye and I had these stitches, and I walk into the house with a hat on and sunglasses on. My mom's like, "What are you doing? Why are you wearing those sunglasses?" And she yanked them off my face, and she was like, "Oh my God, you could have lost an eye," and don't know that I could have, but
could have.
Maybe I could have. Maybe I could have. Yeah, vicious eye poke. Very illegal in the world of professional wrestling.
Should be.
Yeah.
But who used to do it all the time? Someone used
every
to do it.
heel.
Yeah, every fucking heel gives you that.
Every heel that's ever existed.
How many have you given over here?
Not too many.
Not too many.
Not too many.
Right,
mostly a career-long babyface. With a little stint here and there.
You gotta give a little
stint
here and there.
Really, my favorite stint being a heel. Anyway, the point is, then it's such a long, convoluted story. But at that point, I had decided that I was going to move to Orlando to do a personal training diploma, because then I'd have a plan, like my mom had asked, and I'd be in Orlando where they were filming TNA, which was the rival promotion at the time.
Florida is like the headquarters of all the wrestlers.
Yes. Yeah. Lots of them live there. Yeah. Work on their tan, brother. Yeah. Yeah. And so, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm lost. I'm all over the place. I'm like, I don't know. I'm 19. It's not happening for me yet, you know? And I'm like, well, maybe it'll never happen. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I need to get a real job. Stop all this kid stuff. And so I end up on a flight to Florida, and I stop through New York, and I call my mom, and I'm like, "Mom, I'm sorry. I just want to come home. I'll give it all up. I'll find a real job. I'll be normal. I'll settle down." And she's like, No, you can't come home.
Mom was the shoulder.
Like, no, she was like,
she's the one to say, "Hey, get your ass in gear."
Yeah, she was like, "You've been giving up on everything. You gotta get your act together." And so I end up going to Florida and doing a personal training diploma and not wrestling, and then came home and then didn't know what to do. And she was a flight attendant for 29 years. She asked if I wanted her to hand in my resume. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so I said, sure. So then I ended up as a flight attendant. Didn't like flight attendanting, and was longing for that passion that I felt for wrestling, but felt like I couldn't do wrestling. Like I had at this stage burnt bridges and all stuff and lost my way. And so I ended up going to acting school, and I studied in Dublin and then in Chicago. And then when I was finished with that, then I was trying to get acting work all over the place. And I ended up handing in my headshot and resume to the Vikings that were filming in Ireland at the time. And like they must have taken it and just...
The show?
Yeah. And they were like, oh, a stunt woman. Because I had all this physical experience and not much acting experience other than college. And so then the stunt guild called me and they're like, oh, hey, are you a stunt woman? I'm like, yeah, of course, that's me. And had no idea what I was doing. So then I was like, okay, well, let me go down to a wrestling school, because I knew what I was doing there. And if I apply that confidence, then they won't be any the wiser, because I'll be confident, you know, I'll just fake it till I make it. And so I did that. But then when I went to the wrestling school, the guy that was teaching the wrestling class had just gotten signed to NXT. And then he was like, oh, do you want to get a tryout? Because I think you'd get it. I think you'd get into WWE. And I had all these plans. I was going to go back to New York. I'd lived in New York for a stint. And I was going to, you know, try to get theater work. And once he said that, I was like, oh, no. I gotta give this a shot, because my life I won't be able to progress, because in all the time, which it ended up being 7 years between when I busted my eye open to when I was in WWE, 7 years without wrestling, the whole time was just this feeling that I had left this thing that I had a gift for, and that I was meant to do some more, and that I was supposed to. I had all these notions about myself being great in wrestling and changing the game and stuff, which allegedly were true because I did.
Yeah, no, you know that I can fully relate to being the underdog. That confidence that you built in yourself, that underdog mentality. I mean, that sounds like it fueled your career. You believed in yourself, and it's funny because
well, actually, kind of not.
Why?
Well, because
your mom kicked you into gear, made you believe in yourself, then you kept
well,
on,
no. Then I was like, oh, well, I did believe in myself. But then what I was doing was wrong, clearly, because now I'm in this state where I'm confused and I'm lost. So now I doubt myself. And now I'm like, oh, everybody else has the answers. Please tell me, other people, how I'm supposed to get places in life, because I don't trust myself anymore. And so I think that I've always had this this weird sense of confidence and just crippling self-doubt, like in almost equal measures. That's helped, you know.
Yeah,
you don't get too cocky, you know.
I understand,
because there's always that devil on your shoulder going, "You suck. You're the worst."
It sounds very similar to being like Jewish. You always think
Irish
the
Catholic,
sky is falling at all times, and you think that way because you're trying to prepare yourself even if your life's at the best, because you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're having a great time, great part of your life, and then something happens, because there's always some bit of adversity or some problem that always you have to overcome to have growth.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just I 100% relate to that, because it's like an insecurity where you never want to get too high, because the moment you feel like you're too high, you feel like it'll get swept away from you in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
So that insecurity fuels you to work even harder, even if you're success at a certain level, because you're so appreciative of where you've gotten in your career. You don't want to do anything to jeopardize that.
Yeah.
So you keep working, and you keep working. Something like that.
Yes, 100%.
That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
In my career, you know.